All right, incoming rant video. So you've been warned, but what is PA doing? What is Pearl Abyss doing? Guess what? They don't know what they are doing. I am beyond frustrated and mind blown with PA's way of thinking on buffing and nerfing a class. Like there's no way they play this game, right? Especially after seeing the Awakening Warrior nerfs and many other class nerfs. I just can't believe what I'm seeing. I am definitely convinced that they have no idea what they are doing, right? Let's take the Awakening Warrior changes, right? They got a huge buff for their PvE, which was definitely much needed, right? Then a week later, they got nerfed, and then most recently, they get nerfed again. Guess what? You literally just took a class that already sucks in PvE, right? Especially when you compare it to the other classes that are, S tier, right? So you buffed the warrior class to hopefully get it to a S tier level, but let's be real, even with the buffs, it's still not on the level of those classes. And then you nerf it 2 times in a row, essentially making the class, right, the Awakening Warrior class, exactly the same before any of the changes. Like, I think after the most recent change, it was like maybe a total of 5 to 7% increase to its PvE, which is still way underperforming. Like, bro, this is crazy, right? Like, this class sucks at PvE, and you buff it to help the PvE aspect. And again, keep in mind that it's nowhere close to an S tier class, which I know I'm kind of sound like a broken record at this point, but with this previous change, you pretty much reverted all of the changes back, making this class still suck at PvE. Like, what are you doing? Now look, I haven't been a warrior main for, I don't know, probably over a year and a half now. So, these changes don't really affect me personally, but PA, you're really pissing some people off with these stupid changes, right? Because at the end of the day, we should be able to play the class, whatever class, we want, and still get kind of comparable numbers between all of the classes, right? Like plus or minus 500 with your trash loot, right? Like, I think, in my opinion, I think every class should be S tier, right? You shouldn't have to worry about griefing yourself if you don't play a specific class, right? It's just crazy. It's just crazy. You're giving these classes a buff, and then you're having people play with these buffs, and then these players playing on those classes are actually getting somewhat decent trash numbers to now getting nerfed, and the classes are now making subpar trash again, right? It just doesn't feel good. It's just stupid. And again, it's not just the Awakening Warrior, right? There are other changes to other classes too, like the Ranger stamina issue. Archer got obliterated with his PvE. Deadeye got obliterated with his PvE. Now, granted, that class was already pretty overtuned for PvE, so those changes might have been okay. But honestly, for me, like I'm for classes to be buffed at the same level, right? In my opinion, all classes should be at a S tier, and it should really just come down to which specific play style that you want to play, right? But let's take a look at some of the community's posts, because people are roasting PA right now, and it's kind of funny. All right, so we're gonna take a look at a few of these posts here on Reddit and the BDO forum as well. But the memes have been kind of funny, I'm not gonna lie. But the first one here, we got PA nerfs. We got the soldier, blocking all the incoming attacks, knives, grenades, stuff like that. And poor old warrior, right? And then you got the rest of the community just, chilling, sleeping, no issues here. I don't think I've ever seen this right here. I don't think I've ever seen this type of meme. So this is pretty funny. I like it. Let's see what the comments say. Ranger with the biggest stam issue in exchange for little to no damage. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of issues with the Ranger nerfs here recently with the stamina. Second biggest is suck Sork stam issue is far greater and isn't even close. Yes, Sork has always been at a disadvantage when it comes to stamina, which I guess comes with the territory because of the amount of iframes the class has. But yeah, it playing Sork, like I know when I played Awakening Sork, whew, managing your stamina was so hard. And maybe they're trying to nerf the classes a little bit so stamina is a little bit more comparable to the rest of the classes, right? So there's not at a disadvantage. But yeah, Awakening Sork. I've never played Suck Sork, but I definitely know Awakening Sork. Whew, managing that stamina is difficult. Excuse you, have you seen this Ranger BS? I mean, there's like 3 total Awakening Rangers. PA probably thought those nerfs would go unnoticed. Oh no, shots fired, bro. I'll say though, the stam changes to her were completely uncalled for. Yeah, I don't know how severe they are, but I've definitely heard they're pretty bad. They are pretty bad. Let's see here. Tell me that someone clipped Bicep's reaction to those changes. I wonder what his reaction was. Oh gosh. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Awakening Ranger got nuked this patch. What is even this? What is even this? Okay. Whew. Archer. Yeah, poor Archer. Lone Archer. I'll stop playing it after. Why just giving Archer iframe and not destroy the class? At least give him a shield, a sword, and grab. First time. It's definitely not the first time. Archer just got back to pre-buffs. So again, useless in PvE. They just throw changes at random. Yeah, I don't think they know what they're doing, bro. It's pretty bad. Isn't Archer on the same page as Warrior, except you saw Warriors? No, Archer. Oh no. Warrior mains acting as if they are the only class. It's true, all my alts are Warriors, therefore it can only be the one that exists. I love it. All my alts are Warriors. Oh gosh. Can you imagine just like pulling up in someone's game and you just see all of the characters are literally just warrior. They have like 20 warriors. Oh gosh. AI would be leagues better at analyzing class usage and player feedback. That's probably a good point, honestly. Yeah, it'd be a great actual use for AI. Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like that's just how the community is feeling right now. Let's see. Here's another one. So, PA balancing for certain classes. My girl got nerfed and left to rot. Suck Valk. You took everything from me. PA, I don't even know who you are. Oh, no, no, no. We don't even play this game. Exactly, bro. Perfect. Yep. Yep. I generally think they're doing it on purpose so people keep re-rolling to meta classes and spend money on the game for inventory slots. Wait, the balance has been literal BS in this game ever since I can remember. There's no way they're this dumb and they must be doing it intentionally. I don't know. I mean, I definitely think, you know, re-rolling to meta classes is definitely a thing. And honestly, they had more incentive to do it way back in the day when you could actually buy the coupon exchange coupons. Did I just say that right? You could buy the weapon coupon exchange, where I think it was like what, 90? It was like $90 to be able to exchange your weapons. Now that would definitely make more sense for them to do that, to try to get more money out of people. Like, could you imagine like spending $90 right now in today's age for reroll coupons? Like, bro, there ain't no way. I can't believe that was even in the game, but people would do it, and people really didn't care. I'm actually surprised they took that away. But I don't know. I mean, because Inventory slots, weight. I mean, you can get a lot of that stuff for free. So it's not that big of an issue. I don't think that's so true anymore. It's really easy to have a ton of inventory space, weight, free to play. And if you have enough mage, you don't even need them maxed. Yeah, I think that's a good point right there. Yeah, I've been retagging a lot this past week to try different classes. They got buffed. It only cost me like 400 million every time for the fuel. With all the maids, I don't even need weight. All my characters have at least 64 plus inventory slots coming out of season. Yeah, I feel like that's not that big of an issue. However, this right here, that's a good point. Outfits. That's actually a really good point. It's working. They nerf. I reroll to get a new outfit. But I will say they have been giving out free outfits as well. So yeah, there's that. This is reality, not a meme. Stupid scroll button is broke. I need to buy me a new mouse. I just don't want to spend the money for a new mouse. Like, look at this. Look at this. I'm trying to scroll down and it keeps scrolling up and down, up and down. Ah. Dude, why are these ads and combined with the post? Like this is annoying right here. What is up with this? They're gonna put an ad as I'm reading these. Reddit, really? I love Suck, Valk. I'm salty right here with you. I switched to Awake after the Suck nerf so I could continue playing my Valk without insane frustration. Learning Awake caused that anyway. I didn't even look at the Suck Valk changes. The last time the Lawn Suck received an update was at Magnus skill only fixes or not accurate descriptions. That's kind of crazy. I wonder how long ago that was. You think Suck Valk is the only thing that's left to rot? So many classes are just downright dead. No, I'm just salty because I play her, and last time she got a change, it was huge nerf while Awakening got buffed. PA refuses to focus on classes, subclasses that almost nobody plays because they think they just don't like them, but instead we wait every week in hopes they get relevant enough to at least be average. Yes, bro. That whole sentence right there, perfect. That is picture perfect right there. Picture perfect. That is so accurate. Get an upvote. This is it in a nutshell. The specs with tiny player bases are consistently skipped during every all class update cycles, and the specs that are always skipped have tiny player bases. Yeah. Real disservice to loyal players who stick with those ignore classes for years. I mean, that was kind of one of the prime reasons why I ended up re-rolling off Awakening Warrior, because we never really got any love in the PvE aspect, and I just felt like I was griefing myself. Like, this one person over here was making 10,000 more trash than me. Probably not a accurate number, but it at least felt like it. Like they were making a lot more money than me. And, you know, if you total that up at the end of the year or however many hours, you know, like it's pretty significant. Anyone who thinks their class is dead hasn't seen what they did to Ranger and Archer. Yeah. Ranger got killed because people kept saying she was OP, even though they played the newest busted class. Then they would cry harder when going up against a one trick still saying she was OP. It's funny, Archer Ranger got gutted because range shouldn't do so much damage or be as mobile, but here comes Deadeye breaking both of those rules. Yeah, Deadeye was insane. Yep. Deadeye getting nerfed again. Wild. Yeah, she became pretty unplayable, kind of sad. She was my main tag. I never played Deadeye, so not really sure. I seen videos on how busted it was in PvE though. Okay, let's look at the next one here. Any Warrior Awakening main, please explain this to me. So you guys got buffed, and now after 3 times nerfs, you're at the point where you started. They buffed you and removed all the buffs. My brain is fried right now. I'm afraid of my main going same way. I don't know. Did he get nerfed 3 times though, right? I thought they got nerfed just twice. Like they got buffed once, and then the following week they got nerfed, and then they got nerfed again this past week. But pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much where the Awakening Warrior started, plus like 5 to 7% increase on the PvE. Like, there's still a positive that came out at the end of it, but it's very minimal. Very, very minimal. The class still way, way underperforms. No sense when you compare to other classes. We're all just as confused. Yes, indeed, indeed. I'm starting to think that PA is just making this to fill the patch note with stuff until the next ball, random buffing in 1 week, then nerf it on the next one. They have no clue what they're doing. I'm still adjusting to my Awakening Striker PvE changes. Yep, get ready. So annoying when they messed up the Infernal Destruction skill. Although I had to change half my combos. Sometimes I was pressing F and he just stands still. Battlecry cooldown increase also suck hard. May I introduce you to actual BDO in-game fishing. No issue with skill issues. Fish doesn't fight back and all classes are equal. PA nerfs it, doesn't matter because character probably anyway got disconnected 15 minutes after minimizing to Trey. Oh, this is funny, bro. Look at that. Like, actually, no. Yeah, you're right on that one. That would be kind of, I don't know. I feel like having like a fishing mini game where like you can like cast it out. Sorry, this is a little side topic, but cast it out and then you can just kind of like reel it in and like the fish is fighting and you can actually like control your rod and control the ability to like reel in and like let loose the line like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Was it let loose the drag? Something like that. Enhancement on Awakened Warrior failed. Start again. They probably used a low fail stack. Just pick either Zerk, Stroker, or Megu, and you'll be safe to press 3 buttons and run in circles until either you or the game dies. The balancing lately has been actual brain dead, and I don't think anyone can explain why. Nope. Nope. That is true though. Yeah, Zerker, Striker, I guess Striker, or I've never played Megu. I feel like Strikers is fairly easy to do in PvE, but I feel like it's nowhere near as good as other classes. Nah, it's worse. Buffed overall 10% Awakening Warrior, then nerfed 15 to 20% across the board. Some cases 25% nerfs. I feel like crying, man. Yeah. Most skills have increased a lot. The initial buff was way too much in their opinion. Now they are more in tune with what PA thinks it should be. Well, if that's the case, if PA thinks that's where it should be, then they, again, have no idea what they're doing, what they're looking at. Because when you compare Awakening Warrior to like, say, like Witch, like what are we doing? Like there's like, no. Again, it goes back to my opinion on that all classes should be fairly equal when it comes to PvE trash numbers, right? As close as you can. Like again, plus or minus 500 to maybe 1,000 trash, where maybe, you know, Awakening Warrior performs like the plus 500 at one grind spot, and then say like the Witch does plus 500 at a different grind spot, right? But it should still be very comparable. It should not be like one class is all the way up here and then the other class is way down here on the spectrum of PvE. Most skills do way more damage than they did prior to any buffs, the lowest being 4% more damage and the highest being 97% more damage. All right, let's look at the actual forum here. I saw this post here, which this was actually made March 14th, pretty much right after the first nerf. So this is not taking account of the second nerf. Gosh, this is bright. Whew. Let's see here. Cancel, revert all Awakening Warrior PvE nerfs and global lab. Yeah, they didn't listen to you, bro. Nope, they didn't listen to you at all. They actually did the opposite. They gave more nerfs. Awakening Warrior has received approximately a 6.4% damage nerf in PvE. Wow, this person's right to the decimal, accounting for combo DPS in the current global lab patch after receiving an approximate 20% buff the previous week and removing 10 DP of the overall DP shred the class has, which accounts for approximately 4% PvE damage and a decent chunk in PvP. This is completely unacceptable as the class is barely stronger than it was 2 weeks ago by approximately 10%. Roast them, bro. Roast them. Awakening Warrior ranked at 53 out of 54 classes in PvE. Yeah, like if you look at Garmoth, they have kind of rankings on PvE. Now, is it the most accurate? No, but at least it kind of gives you somewhat of a kind of indicator of where classes might be. And I think for the most part, this is pretty bad. I wonder what number 54 is. Huh. But yeah, either way, this is pretty bad. Like, it's not even in like the middle of the pack. Right? It's pretty bad. It's the second worst class in the game within a game with more than 50 by grinding 1 hour on a good PvE class. For example, post nerf Deadeye, Awakening Dosa, Succession Witch. You grinded the equivalent amount you obtain on Awakening Warrior in 1 hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours. See? And that's exactly my point, right? Now, I don't know how accurate this is, but it sounds about right? Because essentially you do 1 hour with Awakening Warrior, okay? And then you do 1 hour with, we'll say, Awakening Dosa, right? Awakening Dosa is going to way outperform Awakening Warrior. So essentially the same amount of money that you made with Awakening Dosa, it's going to take you 1 hour, 30 minutes, or 2 hours equivalent wise. It just makes no sense, right? And like this person said right here, why should my time be worth half the amount of someone playing another class? Yeah, I mean, it makes a very valid point. After 24 hours of Awakening Warrior receiving a damage buff for PvE that has closed the gap to only be 5 or 10 minutes slower than the good PvE classes. Bear in mind, it is still worse than the aforementioned ones. The class has been nerfed, a class that isn't even in the top 20 best PvE classes even after the buff. Awakening Warrior seems to perform marginally better at grinding spots in the hardcore PvP servers than the other classes. I say that as the rank 1 during my 2 hours of playtime. That does not in any way warrant a nerf. Why do you remove an incentive for people to play a class? It's mental. My time shouldn't be worth less than anyone else's. Awakening Warrior players are not third-class citizens. Nobody should be in a video game, so why are we trying to enforce it? Revert these changes immediately. It insults the intelligence of the player base and showcases extreme incompetence by the development and balance team. Roasting, bro. Absolutely roasting. I would love to see what he has to say now. Or what they have to say now after the second nerf. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this post is a prime example, just in general, not just Awakening Warrior, but just in general with other classes, where it's like, if you're not playing that top end S tier PvE class, you're griefing yourself, right? And even though you really want to play a specific class like Awakening Warrior because you like great swords, you can't. I mean, I guess you can, but you're like conditioned to not play it because you're going to fall behind compared to other people. And it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. Crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, PA. I think you really just need to kind of think about what you're actually doing, actually get solid data. I don't know what data you're looking at right now, but yeah, you're making people mad, and you really should kind of maybe go back to the drawing board and see what you really need to do in terms of this whole PvE balancing aspect, because again, you're pissing people off. But hey, anyway, everybody that watched the video, I appreciate you. I hope you have a great upcoming week, as always. And I will catch you in the next video. I've been streaming a lot more on Twitch and or YouTube, so make sure you stop by, come and say hi so I don't fall asleep in my bed, because this is my bed right here. And if I don't have anyone to talk to, I might just pass out. So come by, say hi. But peace out, YouTube.
Sunsets on that desert sky, it's just you and I.